or a Buddhist to become a Christian, but each must assimilate the spirit of the other and yet preserve his individuality. Help and not fight, assimilation and not destruction, harmony and peace and not dissension.
Even at the peak of his glory at the Parliament of Religions, he was feeling deeply for the poor of his countrymen. In his host's house, leaving a comfortable mattress, he preferred lying on the floor. There, he shed tears for his poor countrymen. In a lecture, he declared,
India I loved before I came away. Now, the very dust of India has become holy to me. The very air is now to me holy. It is now the holy land, the place of pilgrimage, the Tirtha.
When an American friend asked how she could help him in his work, he told her,
Love India.
He deeply felt for the upliftment of his countrymen. He wrote several inspiring letters to his brother's disciples and friends. His letter to the Maharaja of Mysore reads in part,
My noble prince, this life is short. The vanities of the world are transient, but they alone live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive.
After propagating Vedanta in the West, Swamiji reached India on the 26th of January 1897. In reply to the rousing reception at Rameshwaram temple, he said,
He who has served and helped one poor man, seeing Shiva in him, without thinking of his caste or creed or race or anything, with him Shiva is more pleased than with the man who sees him only in temples.
During the course of his lecture across India, Swamiji's words of encouragement to his countrymen were,
Do you feel from the heart that millions are starving today and millions are starving for ages? Does it make you sleepless? You may feel, but then have you found any way out? Have you got the will to surmount mountain-high obstructions? All the wealth in the world cannot help one little Indian village if the people are not taught to help themselves. Our work should be mainly educational, both moral and intellectual. Educate the people so that they may learn to be self-sufficient, frugal. If the poor cannot come for education, education should reach the poor. Let New India arise. Let her arise out of the peasant's cottage, grasping the plough, out of the huts of the fisherman, the cobbler and the sweeper. Let her spring from the grocer's shop, from the oven of the fritter seller. Let her emanate from factory, from marts and from markets. Let her emerge from groves and forests, from hills and mountains. Three things are necessary to make every man great, every nation great. First, conviction of the powers of goodness. Second, absence of jealousy and suspicion. Third, helping all who are trying to be and do good. The great secret is absence of jealousy. Be always ready to concede to the opinions of your brethren and try always to conciliate. The only true teacher is he who can immediately come down to the level of the student and transfer his soul to the student's soul and see through the student's eyes and hear through his ears and understand through his mind. Such a teacher can really teach and none else. What is education? Is it book learning? No. Is it diverse knowledge? Not even that. The training by which the current and expression of will are brought under control and become fruitful is called education. Education is not filling the mind with a lot of facts, perfecting the instrument and getting complete mastery of one's own mind is the ideal of education. We must have life-building, man-making, character-making assimilation of ideas. We want that education by which character is formed, strength of mind is increased, the intellect is expanded, and by which one can stand on one's own feet. What we want is Western science coupled with Vedanta, with Brahmacharya as the guiding motto, and also Shraddha and faith in one's own self. What makes the difference between man and man is the difference in the Shraddha and nothing else. What makes one man great and another weak and low is this Shraddha. Teach yourselves, teach everyone his real nature, call upon the sleeping soul and see how it awakes. Power will come, glory will come, goodness will come, purity will come, and everything that is excellent will come when the sleeping soul is roused to self-conscious activity. The ideal of womanhood in India is motherhood. That marvelous, unselfish, all-suffering, ever-forgiving mother. If the women are raised, then their children will, by their noble actions, glorify the name of the country. Then will culture, knowledge, power and devotion awaken in the land. Religion, arts, science, homekeeping, cooking, sewing, hygiene. The simple essential points in these subjects ought to be taught to our women. All other training should be secondary to religion. Religious training, the formation of character and observance of the vow of celibacy, they should be attended to. Who are you to solve women's problems? Are you the Lord God that you should rule over every widow and every woman? Hands off. They will solve their own problems. Educate your women first and leave them to themselves. Then they will tell you what reforms are necessary for them. Each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest this divinity within by controlling nature, external and internal. Do this either by work, or worship, or psychic control, or philosophy, by one or more, or all of these, and be free. This is the whole of religion. Doctrines or dogmas or rituals, or books or temples or forms are but secondary details.
Swamiji's description of an all-round personality.
You must be prepared to go into deep meditation now, and the next moment you must be ready to go and cultivate in the fields. Explain the difficult intricacies of the Shastras now, and the next moment go and self-produce in the market. The practice of meditation leads to mental concentration. The more the power of concentration, the greater the knowledge that is acquired. The difference in their power of concentration also constitutes the difference between man and man. Look upon every man, woman and everyone as God. You cannot help anyone. You can only serve. Serve the children of the Lord. Serve the Lord Himself if you have the privilege. If the Lord grants that you can help any one of His children, blessed you are.